So here's 5 receivers I'm going to try to trade for going into week 9. And these guys can help you down the stretch. And the first guy's Kenny Golladay of the Detroit Lions. I know he's injured with a hip injury. He's considered week to week, the reports say. But he's a guy that he could put up monster numbers. Yesterday, I know he had 0. But besides that, he's had all double-digit games of 15-plus in PPR leagues in the 4 games he played the whole season. But Golladay, the injury concerns are there. Owners might be fed up with him, and you can maybe get Golladay on the cheap. And I expect him with the hip, he'll be out a week or 2. So say he comes back in week 11, you get him for the playoff push in the last 3 weeks of the season. But this guy's a bona fide receiver. Stafford likes throwing those jump balls. They try to use him like a Calvin Johnson over there, is Golladay. So he'll be the first guy I'll try to go get, and you could get him cheap, I believe, this week. The second guy, his stock definitely dropped in the last 2 or 3 weeks, and that's CeeDee Lamb of the Dallas Cowboys. And I even seen him dropped in 6% of leagues in the last week. So CeeDee Lamb yesterday with Ben DiNucci. This is all PPR. I base my points and stuff off at a rush attempt for 19 yards and 4 catches for 27 yards. Lamb early in the game, he had a quick 4 points, but then DiNucci, he was horrible. He was scared to throw the ball down the field, but Andy Dalton should be back in week 9 in a tough game, though, versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. But you know Dallas is going to have to throw the ball a ton in that game to try and compete. So I think CeeDee Lamb, you could get him very cheap right now. He's had 2 horrible games, 0.1 in week 7, and then, like I said, 8.6 last week. So Lamb, I think he's still going to be solid. He's a great talent. And even with an Andy Dalton, if Dalton could get some time in the pocket, he can make a couple throws and get Lamb open and get him the ball. So CeeDee Lamb, very cheap. I think you could go out there and get him. Or teams might even drop him, which will be even better for you. Because if I saw CeeDee Lamb on my waiver wire, I'm going out there in a second and trying to grab him. Third guy I'm trying to get, and he's going into bye this week. But I wish I got him on waivers weeks ago, but I thought he was a one-time wonder, and that's Travis Fulgham of the Philadelphia Eagles. We saw Jalen Reagor come back last night, and did it matter? No, it didn't. Fulgham with a monster game, 6 catches, 78 yards, and a touchdown, and that's his third 19-plus fantasy game since he got in that Eagles starting lineup, is Fulgham. So this kid's emerging. His schedule's getting easy. He's a big physical receiver. He's got speed. So he's a guy to go out there and get. He's got the bye this week. So maybe if the owner needs players this week, if he's in a tough position with a 3-5 record or whatever, you could get Fulgham right away. But he's got the Giants, Cleveland, and Seattle the next 3 weeks after his bye in week 9. So things lining up perfectly for Fulgham. You probably have to overpay a little to get him, but this guy is the real deal. I don't care about Alshon Jeffrey coming back or whoever. They're not going to bench this guy. He's had 5 great games in a row, and he's why the Eagles are first in the NFC East, even though they're 3-4-1. But whatever, this guy's helping them win games and keeping them in games as well. So Travis Fulgham, he's probably the pickup of the year, I would say, at wide receiver. He's definitely up there, and now I would definitely go out there and try to trade him. The fourth guy is Chris Godwin of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I know he's injured. He's not playing tonight with the fractured finger versus the Giants, but I think he has a good shot of playing in week 9, and I think you could get him very cheap. The Godwin owner, he's going to be frustrated. It seems like Godwin's out every other week he don't play. And plus Antonio Brown is coming into town now, and a lot of people hyping Brown up big time over there in fantasy and Tampa Bay, thinking he's going to be elite number 1 receiver again, which I don't see. And if he is and the attention goes to Brown, great. You got Chris Godwin then. And if he has single coverage, this guy, he's going to be DB's worst nightmares with his route running and his catching ability. So Tom Brady, the weapons keep getting better for him. But Chris Godwin's a guy you should try to trade for, and you could get him probably for a cheap deal that he's not playing tonight with a broken finger, and it'll be questionable for next week, and his bye ain't till week 13, so that's a good thing. So go out there and try to get Godwin. And the 5th and final guy is a guy I always rave about, but yesterday he was a dud, and that's Justin Jefferson. But just the way that game went, I think he was a dud because he only had 4 targets, 3 catches, 26 yards. And when you got an amazing running back like Dalvin Cook running all over the field, having 4 touchdowns in the first 4 possessions, you're going to ride the hot hand, and that's what the Minnesota Vikings did. They rode with Cook until the end of the ball game, and he led them in an upset victory versus the Green Bay Packers in Lambeau. So that's why Jefferson didn't get the ball. But Jefferson's got Detroit, Chicago, Dallas coming up, pretty good matchups. And we know Jefferson's ability. He's had some monster games this year, like in Week 6, where he scored 39 fantasy points, and in Week 3, where he scored 30 fantasy points. So Justin Jefferson, he's an elite receiver, in my opinion. He's already got 550 yards receiving, and he's a rookie. So this kid, he's going to make damage happen every week, I think. This week it was a down week, but it was just game script and Dalvin Cook dominating. So if the owner's frustrated and think he's a rookie that's not going to be consistent each and every week, I'm going out there and getting Jefferson, because these blow-up games, they're going to happen more and more as the weeks go on for Jefferson, and especially playing in indoors. That turf is quick, and it's good for wide receivers like him with his speed. So that's 5 receivers I'm looking to trade for going into Week 9.